Jeepers! When they said it was going to be windy, they weren't lying. So, that's it for the 2021 corn silage. So, I was asked quite a few times why we don't cover our silage pit, or we don't cover it anymore. Well, the short answer is because we have critters. Between rats and raccoons, they just destroyed the plastic, and the plastic would end up not serving any purpose. So what was the point of spending 600 bucks on plastic sheets? We tried the tarps, and unless we splurge out for really expensive ones, the other tarps don't last long. The sun breaks them down. But this is kind of this is the longer answer. That, for scale, that, and that is the wastage, or call it spoilage. So that is what spoils on the crust, on the top. Down the sides probably the worst, because on the sides it doesn't get packed as well, so it's a little bit more fluffy, so you lose more on the sides. The top, you usually get about 4 inches of crust, and then that's it. So yeah, that's all you lose. So if you calculate, you know, if sheets work for you, then that's great. But we've just never had any good luck with them. Between the critters and then winds like this, because we don't have great shelter. This is predominantly where the worst winds come from. Case in point. If we had that all the way around, we probably would have better luck with the sheets, but we don't. Even trying putting the pit further down there, no, winter still happens. So yeah, all that ends up happening is raccoons go walk around on top, puncture a bunch of holes, and we do try and keep on top of it, literally, taping up all the holes, but eventually air gets in there, wind gets in there, tears the sheets, and you're done. So, figured y'all might want to see that. So yeah, making 2021 corn silage last until August. Actually, September is this week. It's not bad. And like I said, we really didn't need to make it last out this long, but we actually would have had more time, but for the fact that we had the cull cows still in the yard for as long as we did before we shipped them. But that was sort of a waiting game with prices and whatnot. So yeah, the young ones that are with the bull that have never had a calf, they're not on silage as much because they're not feeding calves. This group, because half of them are feeding calves, that's why we were giving them the silage, because it sort of helps make more milk. But now that we have a whole bunch of hay bales that we're going to be using up right away, because like you see that one, that's one of the tougher bales, smudged down, that's a sign that it's going bad, so we'll chuck them out there and then they can pick through it. Anyway, go feed them. Well, we're in it. Talking about where the ground drive clicked out and there's no sensor for it, but gives you a bit of an idea of what the crop's going to look like. And hard to tell down here, but there's a pretty good catch in there. There's something nice about doing this, and you got the ladies right beside you with some nice big bunny calves. Yep. You know when they're laying down, they're happy. Okay, I'm going to do a couple of rows to open this up and have a look at it before supper. So we're now in one of the heaviest parts of the field. And yeah, it got ugly. Having a hard time getting up off the ground. That's the problem with a disc bind versus a hay bind. Hay bind would probably lift that up. But in truthfulness, I don't have the blade's tilted down right now because I'm doing the field edge and I'm too nervous just in case there's anything along the edge there. So on the next pass I will probably tilt her a little bit down more to get some suction. But yeah, that's probably all of 4.5 feet tall oats. Nice. So yeah, I'm 6'5". So that's probably fully 5 feet tall. Now, the sloths they're good, but the big thing is, fairly good catch of alfalfa there. There's some spots where the alfalfa is really thick, but here it's thin because of that. We only put 1 bushel to the acre of oat seed on here because that was what was recommended for the alfalfa. So yeah. There'll be a few bales out here. So what do we do when the dew comes down and the pens are all finally piled? We're laying poor man's concrete. So, because this yard was never developed before we got it, everything's sort of been getting built from scratch. So, right there where you can start to see, going around the corner was just a mud hole. I'd already built this part of the road up. So this is shale, which for those who don't know what shale is, it's highly compacted clay, which is almost rock form. So when they dig it up, they kind of break it up, shatter it, and then if you can leave it sit a winter and the frost fractures it even more, then if you lay it down, especially up to about a foot thick, and you pack it down, it will then set up hard as rock, and it makes really good road base. Preferably if you're doing it from scratch, like a brand new road, you'd put down a layer of fiber mat or flax straw, and then put the foot of flax on top of it, which is what the loop road back at the workshop is. But because this is sort of, well, it's making do. The road that's going up the back of the pens at the east end of the yard, that's going to be a bit of a major job. We're going to get a lot of shale brought in this fall. But this, I have the shale for this, and I just want to get this fixed up so we can get around here without having to go through this mud hole. So what do you do when your loader tractor's down and you don't have a bale spike for your skid steer? You make do. Limitations of a disc bank. It's mostly pointing that way. So you'll see there, that one's going that way, so you see it only get top half of the plant off. So that's why I'm only running 15 feet of the head and leaving a foot hanging over. And that way when I'm going this way, I'm getting a foot of the stuff that was left behind by that one. But yeah, it's not bad for clean. A little bit of hemp nettle there. A little bit of thistle here and there. But apart from that, it's clean. Anyway, you get away, bad puppy. Oh gosh, I'm getting tired of this stuff. And I'm getting tired of this bloody thing. Yeah, there's a hydraulic diverter block that's under the cab. It got a crack in it back a few years ago when the farm owned this, and we put new O-rings in it to try and limp it through. And I knew we should have changed it before the farm changed hands, but it never got done, and now it's putting oil out pretty quickly. And it's about $2,000 to replace that diverter block. So I just keep putting oil in it so I can get to the end of the season, and then we'll probably pull the pin on that. So there'll probably be at least $2,000 into the block, and then probably another $1,000 to change all the parts over. So that'll be fun. So yeah, here's the this shows you how this year has gone, because we didn't get a lot of rain this year. Yes, we were damp. That was like nighttime dew, no wind. We've only had about 14 inches of rain total this year. But if this shows you anything, so wherever the soil is heavier, it's like this. It's like 4 or 5 feet tall and going down. Wherever the soil is lighter, it's like that. About a foot tall. Now, alfalfa is coming on everywhere, which is good. That's the part that's most important. But yeah, so that shows you that lighter land, if it doesn't get the rain, it doesn't make hardly anything. So yeah, like I said, it's maybe a foot and a half tall. And then not more than 100 yards away, it's like this, because this is black soil and that's sandy soil. So yeah, that shows you the difference. See over there, same thing. That's a ridge that goes all the way along and then all the way over to the next field. And then there's another high spot that goes all the way over to the bale yard. So yeah, slow going. Oh my gosh, pardon me. But yeah, you can hear the combines going in every direction when you stop. But I think I'm getting most of it up. This stuff here, there's bits of it that just will not come up. But I'm getting the heads, most of the heads off, pretty much all of them. It seems to be where it's straw broke, and you can actually see where it's been down long enough that it's starting to get regrowth coming up through it. So yeah, that's a problem, because there was no wind for the better part of the summer. And so when you do get a wind, it's usually with rain, boof, knocks it down. And plus it's big enough that that's heavy. That's a good thing, I suppose, but it's a bugger to cut, because it's so long it wants to wrap on everything. So best get on. Oh my gosh. So yeah, tomorrow is September. Yeah, it's hot. It's like 32 degrees outside. It's to be 34 tomorrow. There's a couple more days of above 30 this week. It's supposed to be the hot zone, which is good, because that'll help dry this stuff down. Yeah, you can see exactly the issue with that heavy stuff. Yeah, like this stuff is heavy, but those are where the soil's a little bit heavier and it's a little bit bigger again. So I just stopped here to show you, this is the color that I look for. I don't so much go for the seed feel, because you can have a seed that's still sort of doughy and it will shell out because the outer part of the plant has seasoned out. So I go for color. Now you see that's dark green, and then the short stuff is fairly far on, but you wouldn't be straight cutting it with a combine. But this is the lime color that I talk about. That way, when you look down here, the header's not absolutely covered in seeds. You might see the odd bit of green leaf, bit of a green hull on the outside, but honest to gosh, there's not a whole lot falling off, and probably most of that damage will have been done by the grasshoppers snacking on the top of the oats. So as you can see, it's not crazy thick. But what you can see is the alfalfa. Alfalfa. So yeah, it's a good catch. Funny, it doesn't look like much there, but then when you look at it down in there, it looks great. But that's because these are the, I don't know what they call them, the alpha plants. These are the ones that grow from the seed and they start setting up the root ball, and then poof, you get what happened in the other field here next year. Because this is straight alfalfa. There's no grass in this at all. Because this is going to be mainly for silage. Unlike that field wasn't supposed to be, but anyway. So yeah, hoping to get this knocked down today. And I'll get this video uploaded. And I'll remember in this video to say teddy bye, because I think I forgot in the last one. It's kind of a abrupt ending. Mrs. Piper Doug is on her way to Shoal Lake to go and pick up the ball joint from the dealership. I think it's like 200 bucks. Yeah, it's 200 bucks. But I need it because, as you can see right there, there's a trailer load of bales sitting, not unloaded. And there's some cows going to be looking for a bale later on. I managed to get some of them fed with the bobcat and a chain wrapped around the bucket. I don't know if I showed you that, but anyway, don't fancy doing that too often, especially not in this heat. So yeah, we'll see you in the next video. Tatty bye. Yay. 250 bucks, yay. What do you do? Oh, I tell you, it's hot today. No wind, 30 degrees. Almost makes you wish it was winter. Or maybe not. It'll come soon enough.